Okay, so let's begin today's session. Happy Monday to everyone. We are back. Hello. So sit comfortably wherever you are. Keep your back and neck straight. And whenever you feel ready, very gently close your eyes and start observing your breath. Just observe the natural flow of the breathing. Don't change your breath yet. Slowly shift the attention to the posture. Just make sure you are correctly aligned. Slowly begin to deepen the breathing. Go for slow, long, and deep breaths. Calm your mind and prepare it for the chanting of Om and the Shanti mantra. Inhale deeply for Om. 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 Let's chant the Shanti mantra together. Sarve bhavantu sukha. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschit dukha bhave. Ma kaschit dukha bhave. Inhale for Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Just feel the vibrations. Join your palms together and rub the palms together. Place them on your eyes. Very slowly, while blinking and looking at your palms, begin to open up your eyes. Start coming back with a smile. And namaste to everyone. Let us begin today's session. So last time we were talking about Bhagavad Gita, right? And I'll just give you a little bit more like information on it, and then we'll begin with today's topic. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita, like I told you, the chapters, right? And I also told you by the end the number of verses that are there in the text, right? So just a little bit more information. Author of this text is Ved Vyas. Vedvyas. Okay. Author you should know, and then compiler also. So, like I told you, yoga was also very scattered, and then Patanjali came and compiled it. So, it was in the time of Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, that this text became very famous, and he was the one who compiled it properly. So I just Adi Adi Shankar Shankar Acharya Acharya Adi Shankar Acharya, right? So he is the compiler. And like I told you the story till the point where we begin with Bhagavad Gita, right? And that at that point of time, the father of the Kauravas, he was actually blind by birth, right? So at that point of time, the author of this text, right, Bhagavad Gita, he gave one of his very trusted ministers, right, the vision to see the war sitting where he was. Okay, so he initially offered it to the father only, but the father refused. Why? Because he couldn't see his sons getting hurt or dying, right? So he said that I cannot bear to see this thing, especially knowing that it is because of me I couldn't teach my sons well, that today this war is happening, right? So he said that uh, please give this vision to one of my trusted ministers, right? And the minister, he saw everything and he narrated it to the father of the Kauravas, right? So I'll just write down the 4 characters, because when you read the text, you will find 4 people like talking. So like I told you, it's a conversation form, right? So the father of the Kauravas, so Dhritarashtra, right? I told you, he and his trusted minister Sanjay, they were having a conversation. Okay, so first conversation is between these 2 people. I'll just confirm the spelling once, because this spelling I also get confused in. Wait, wait. Okay. this is the first conversation. So two people are talking, Sanjay and Dhritarashtra. Sanjay is the minister, trusted minister, and Dhritarashtra is the father of the Kauravas, right? So Sanjay, Sanjay. And Dhritarashtra is Dhritrashtra. So these two people are having a conversation. And then Lord Krishna and Arjuna are also having a conversation, like last time I told you, right? These two people are having a conversation, right? So the above two people, Sanjay and Dhritarashtra, they are having a conversation about the conversation of Lord Krishna and Arjuna. Okay, so it's like a conversation within a conversation. So when you read, you will find these four names. So don't get confused. Like you and I, we are talking about the conversation that somebody else had, right? And we are narrating that, right? So two conversations are taking place in the text. Okay, so this is a major text of the schools of yoga. Okay, if you we will discuss in the future classes the schools of yoga. So if you want to learn more, I will mention in which chapter which school is given, so you guys can refer back to that chapter also, just to specifically learn more about what has been said about that school. Okay, so let's begin today's topic, right, which is your uh, three gunas. This you might have covered in Ayurveda also, but I will uh, also be teaching it. It's a part of your philosophy also. The three gunas, right? And I will tell you the qualities also of the three gunas, and how in our life, the three gunas are very, very relevant, right? So um, today you guys will have an interesting activity, right? Let me just, okay. So three gunas, this term means three means three. Okay, TRI, this term means three. And gunas mean the qualities, right? So like all of us are created out of the five elements, right? There are some things which are existing, right? So in that same way, all of us have these three qualities within us, right? Like Vat, Pit and Kaph. In therapy classes, you would have studied of these three. So just like that, we have the three gunas, right? And these dominate us in different uh, time periods of our life, and then in the daily tasks also, these dominate us, right? So now when you learn about them, so you have to check in your day which one is dominant for you, right? And I will tell you how you can tackle it also, because some of them you have to come out of them, right? So and you have to move towards one, right? So these are the three qualities which are possessed by everything in nature. Okay, you, everything around you, everyone around you, right, will have these three qualities, right? So what are these three qualities? I'll just write down the names. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Okay. Sattva. Then we have Rajas, Rajas, and then we have Tamas, Tamas. All of your thoughts, your actions, everything is influenced by these three. Okay, so let's talk of Sattva first, because so that is the one you have to move towards. Okay, the first one that I have written, this is the one you have to move towards. So in Bhagavad Gita also, this has been mentioned, right, in the 14th chapter. If you guys open the 14th chapter, you will read about the qualities of these three, right? Okay. So, Sattva, you will meet some people in your life, right, who are like completely like, you look up to them, right? You feel that they are always peaceful. No matter what happens in their life, you're just like, oh, this person is very peaceful. And when you go in their company, you also feel better. So suppose you are having a bad day, right? And you go in their company. So you feel much, much better when you are with them, right? You feel very sorted, right? In modern terms, I'm explaining this thing, right? They have very good vibes, right? So this kind of quality is sattvic quality, right? So where your wisdom is very, very, active. Sattva is very, very, it's like light. Okay, so it's very illuminous. Sorry. You can say illuminating, right? Happy, yeah, peaceful, right? This is the basic quality of somebody who is sattvic. And all of us, we also experience this thing. So sometimes, some people come to us and they're just like, at that point of time when I sat with you, I felt really good. So sometimes we are also in this kind of mind, right, where we are very calm, we are very sorted, right, and we feel as if, okay, we are happy, right? So this state of mind is experienced by everybody. So the thing is that, it's like juggling three balls, right? So all of them, like, they complete the circle and then the circle goes on, right? So same thing is happening with the three gunas. During specific timings in your day, the three gunas dominate differently, right? And depending on that, you find your state of mind as such, right? So somebody who is sattvic, they will have a very positive attitude. Okay. They will understand spirituality. Okay, so they will be very spiritual in nature. So, sometimes you will go to some people and you will say you are doing yoga, right? And you are doing asanas, you are doing breathing, and then you will tell them you are doing meditation. And everybody will be like, people around you will be like, why? We don't understand this, right? Why are you doing this? Are you feeling okay? So when, people come to yoga, a lot of people around them, they ask, is everything okay? Are you feeling okay? Right? No, that's not the case, right? Of course, it takes some suffering, like I have already discussed, to come on this path. But some people, immediately they understand some things that are talked of, or they actually see that life is more than just, that circular way in which everything is going, right? So you guys are also very spiritual in nature, right? Because you are joining the classes, you are practicing, and you are seeing how the practices are changing you. So you are spiritual, and then you are scientists also, because you are experimenting, right? No scientist ever, you know, they always experimented, right, to come to the final conclusion, right? So you guys are very like you are showing this quality, and it is dominating for you guys. That is why you are sitting over here, right? Because you understand that it's more than jumping around, it's more than just regulating the breathing, right? And you cannot force this thing, right? If you tell somebody who really doesn't believe in all of this, right, to push them to practice, right, they will not, right? So this also comes with time only, when the person comes to this understanding, and it comes with the dominance of this quality within you, right, where you just understand, right? So when I remember when I started practicing, so in my family, like a lot of people, they were very skeptical about me practicing meditation and yoga. So initially I pushed them a little bit to join me, because when you find benefit in something, you want everybody around you to do it, right? So I pushed everybody in my family, but my dad really came on board. So whatever I did, he used to do, right? So but my sister, she processes everything very differently, right? But I know she's somewhere just around all of these things, not in the way in which I express them, but she took her time. But eventually, she did like come into meditation, and she did experiment with a few things. But it took her some time to absorb the idea in the way maybe I was presenting it to her, right? So the mind, it takes its own time, so everybody reaches this stage at their own time, so you cannot force. I tried to force right, and then I was just told go away right? But eventually I saw that everybody was somewhere trying to find some holistic solutions to things, rather than just a very temporary or temporary kind of thing, right? Same with my friends also. Some of them still oppose me, right? And some of them, they really like appreciate this side of life also. So it's different for everybody. In your life also, you will have multiple people, right? And sometimes it will also happen that they will totally disagree. So let them disagree, okay? They will eventually come there, right? So somebody who has sattva dominant, they will their body also, it will show like the glow on their face, right? So there is a good glow on the face, um, and like we you guys, like, you smile a lot, right? So this thing, where is it coming from, right? Your body will be very healthy. So sattvic person, the body is very fit. Fit doesn't mean that people who have abs, right? Fit means their body is functioning uh, in the correct manner. All the toxins are released from the body. They are doing practices so that the toxins cannot get accumulated in the body, right? So everything is going in that manner only. Like right now, you guys are working towards the asana practice, the pranayam practice. So you guys sweat, right? And when you will do some heating pranayams, you will, maybe you begin to sweat, right? So what is happening? Toxins are getting released from the body. So body remains healthy, which leads to the mind being very positive. So you'll always see life from that perspective, that things are working out, or they will, right? So this hopeful nature, everybody doesn't have that, right? So this kind of optimistic attitude is sattvic. This, that is the nature of a person who is sattvic, right? So the okay, so the color associated with sattva is white. So, you will see a lot of spiritual leaders who wear white, right? So, why? Because this color, when you look at white, as soon as you look at white, something changes, right? If some place is completely painted white and you walk into that room, the entire your state of mind changes, right? That is why in pranayam class also I said, set your space, like your mind feels more settled. So white in general, you will see everybody, when they wear white, they feel very calm and peaceful. And even when you guys wear white, check the state of your mind. So this is your homework, right? So all the colors, they have a different impact on the body, right? If you wear black someday, you will feel differently. And it's also because of the colors surrounding you, right? And if you wear very bright colors, then it says something about your personality. Sorry, is it related to Kundalini? See, don't go there. Color white. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So Kundalini and everything, these are very, very advanced things. Right now, it's important to understand the basic thing, right? And all of these things, they will confuse you. They will get you caught up, right? So I uh, will not answer this question, which color is associated. This is something which should be experienced rather than, that is what I personally believe, because I've seen my very stuck when, I have these doubts and queries. So it's something, you sit in meditation, you just simply observe your reality. It's not anything extraordinary, it's just ordinary, right? Everything is ordinary only. As you experience, you will answer this for me. Okay. So next time you answer this for me, I will ask you this. Okay. Don't trouble yourself too much with colors and everything. Right. This will get you actually stuck in meditation. That is why I'm saying this thing. Right. So just for now, just trust my word. Right. And if you still have that doubt later on, I will definitely clear it. So don't worry. Okay. Okay. So white. So you will see a lot of people who, practice, they wear white. And this is the exact reason, because white represents something very pure, right? When you look at white also, you feel that thing, right? So you will see, uh, in a lot of places where yoga is taught, people wear white. Okay. Even where I was learning, we used to have a fixed uniform kind of thing. So we had white t-shirt and blue lower. Okay. And throughout the time we were learning, we wore that white t-shirt because it does impact you. So start becoming aware of the colors around you, because they will remind you of something, right? Or some quality, right? So whenever you see white, and if you want to be more of sattvic nature, you can incorporate more white into your life. So that's the easiest way, right? Because now you know which color is associated with what kind of quality. So you become aware, you become conscious. Oh, this is white. Okay. And oh, I'm wearing this, or the space around me is white. So it is a constant reminder for you, right? That you have to uh, work towards that. At least you cannot force this thing, but you have to put work towards this thing, right? So this is the whole, like, everything about sattva quality, right? And let's move to this. Oh, one more point of sattva. So, in a lot of classes, I have mentioned that early morning and sunset time, this is very good time for yogic practices, right? So, because sattva is dominant in these times, okay, so early morning and sunset time, this is when this quality is active. So, if you wake up at 4 in the morning, you will see your mind doesn't uh, have that chaos inside it. It takes a few, hours or some time for the mind to get into extreme processing. right? And if you are an overthinker, you will definitely see this change. If you wake up between 4 to 8, at this, like this 4 hour time, this is when sattva dominates. That is why we'll see in a lot of cultures, people used to wake up in the morning, and by 8 in the morning, most of their work was done, right? And even uh, earlier in boarding schools also, and earlier I told you they were gurukuls. So children used to wake up at 4 and do all the yogic practices, and by 8 they were done with their study, because the absorption power of the mind is very good when the sattva quality is dominant. When you want to achieve something or crack some exam, everybody says wake up in the morning and study. Wake up at 4 a.m. Wake up at 6. Study then. Why? Because mind is very very absorbent at that point of time. That is why you shouldn't check your social media when you wake up, right? Because then the mind immediately absorbs that. That is why they say keep technology a little bit aside and take a few 1 or 2 hours and then check your phone, because mind is not having that barrier. Okay. And even for affirmations also, this time is very very good. Why? Because there is no conscious barrier. Whatever you give to the mind, it will completely absorb that thing. And this is because of the sattvic quality of the mind. Same during the sunset time again. The mind is, you will see, uh, either when you wake up early in the morning or by the time your day ends, 4 o'clock around. So when your day ends, you are just like, you just take a, you know. So what is this? You are feeling very like, most of your day is done. You have completed all your responsibilities. So the mind feels very settled at that point of time. So that is again sattva quality coming into dominance. So it's a great time to go for any yogic practices, because when the mind is in that state where you feel calm and relaxed, then when you do the practices, the impact is totally different, right? One thing is we set off a chaotic state of mind. The other thing is mind is already still, and then you do these practices, so you move ahead. You are able to go ahead in your journey, right? Okay. So next quality is rajas, right? So rajas is this active, right? Active kind of quality. So this you can observe in nature also. The sattva quality is there, then there's this active quality. Okay. So, some after this morning time when your mind is completely relaxed, after that, all the chaos begins, right? In the mind. Now you're thinking 10 different things, right? I have to do this, I have to do this, right? So this is rajas dominating, right? Where there is activity in the mind, and there is restless activity actually when rajas dominate. So activity of the mind is good, right? But this restlessness that sets in, this is because of rajas. Rajas causes movement in everything, right? So your mind can be of a rajas state. Your body can also be of a rajas state. So, sometimes people move their hand a lot, you know, or maybe, these days there are fidget spinners also, in order to avoid this restless activity of the, body, right? Or they shake their leg a lot, right, when they sit. So this is the excessive uh, um, restlessness that is caused because of the rajas quality coming into dominance, right? So such a person, they have very high ego. Okay, so if you're you are of a rajas nature, so don't take this the hard way. Okay, ego is high. you will meet some people in your life who will fight for nothing, right? But they will keep that fight going, right? Why? Because the ego is very, very high, you know, and because of this, they suffer also a lot. So their sense of, so the greed is also very high. And hence this causes a lot of suffering. This uncontrolled, basically this is not being controlled or regulated, right? So when the ego is very high, even for us it sometimes happen, we are just baselessly fighting over something. My sister and I, we have this fight for so many years now. There is this bowl in our house, okay, and I say it is of green color and she says it's of blue color, okay. So we, both of us, we are looking at the same bowl and we have this fight for years, I'm telling you. This thing, right? That this is green, that she says this is blue, I say this is green, this is blue, right? And last time she sent me a link and she was just like, this is the further categorization of the shades of blue and green, right? So she was just like, keep this link with you, next time you come home we will bring that jar with the phone and we will compare, is it blue or is it green, right? So we are baselessly fighting over years of that color of over the color of that jar. Okay, so this is Rajas quality, right? Your ego is very high. You just have to prove a point, right? And you just keep on bickering like anything, right? So this is when Rajas sets in. And during that day also, Rajas is actually very helpful. It is what makes us work towards things and go and earn a living or study, right? So after 8 a.m. in the morning, Rajas sets in, right? So you will see a lot of people go to work. This is the working time, right? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, people come to work, they start doing the activities to support their daily living, right? Because this is the time when the body becomes very active. Okay, so that is why, like I told you, these are the qualities of the nature, right? So most of us are, so these days a lot of people are coming up with the studies of night owls also, I know, but most of us are attuned to waking up in the morning, getting a chunk of the important work done before 8, right? And then going for activities which will help us to support our livelihood after 8, because this is how the nature is designed, right? So if you get in sync with this, like I told you in the beginning of classes, yoga is what? Getting in sync with nature, right? So if you experiment this, okay, and try to just experiment with it, okay, and if you feel you are more in sync, your efficiency is increasing, then it is a good way for you to lead your life, right? So this 8 o'clock, after that, it becomes the Rajas quality starts to dominate, right? Rajas is associated with the color red. Okay, so red color. So when you wear red also, so state of mind is very different, right? When we wear red. So, and some people believe that all the colors except black and white, they represent the Rajasic quality only, right? So it totally depends on you, right? How you are perceiving the colors, right? But red specifically is said to be of Rajasic quality. Okay. Um, let's move to your tamas. So you guys will also be either in one of these three categories, or you will have two dominant. Generally, it is seen two are dominant. So you will maybe have a sattvic mind, but a tamasic body. So you are very lazy. You don't want to get up. But mind is completely, stable, right? And you might also be a combination of same, the tamasic body and rajasic mind. So sometimes we just keep laying down and the mind is running like anything. You don't get out of bed, but the mind starts running. So then you become, overall, you will see you are generally a combination of two only, right? It is very in extremes only when one is only tamasic, right? That the body is also tamasic, mind is also tamasic. But generally, we are a combination of the two. So overall, if you want to analyze yourself, so look at past few days or few months, right, and see what is your general state of conducting yourself, right? So you'll be able to understand what personality type you are. Okay. So last is our tamas. Tamas is considered to be the lowest of all. Okay. So if you are in this state, mind wise or body wise or both, right, you have to come up and above, right? Okay, so this is a very dull state of mind, uh, body. There's a lot of laziness and lethargy. So apathy. You feel somebody around you is apathetic, so their tamas is dominant, right? Sleep. Like I told you, you keep sleeping, you don't come out of bed, right? That is tamas quality. And again, it is important. Why? Because we all have to sleep, right? So tamas is important because our body needs that rest, our mind needs that rest. So during night time, generally tamas dominates. That is why, according to nature, night time is your sleeping time because tamas is dominating at that point of time. This quality is very heavy in nature. You know how your eyes, they feel very heavy when you are about to sleep, body starts feeling heavy, right? So the heaviness, this gravity pull, this is tamas, right? Keeping us grounded. It is tamas quality, right? And even though all three of them are important, too much of tamas is really bad for you. So this person will not have any spiritual inclination, right? Their body will be unhealthy. They will have a negative approach towards life, right? So mind wise, they are depressed or they are very pessimistic. So they just point out what is going wrong, right? So that kind of a person, they are having tamasic qualities and they have to come above this kind of quality. So black color is associated with your tamas, right? So you will see when you wear black, you again feel very different, right? When you are wearing black. So the more you become aware, you can make changes in your life accordingly. Also, you can incorporate more of a color in order to incorporate that quality, change your clothing, right? Like I told you, go for shopping, buy loose clothes, right? So it's totally up to you how you want to work with this, right? So tamas and rajas you have to come out of. Now tamas, why is tamas the lowest? Because at that point of time, you will see people who are into depression, right? They don't want to get out, right? So it's very hard for them to move their body. If they will move their body, just stretch their hands up, they will be like, we are done for the day, right? We did a lot of exercise, right? So this thing, they have to build some inertia. At that point of time, practices like asana practice is great for someone who has tamasic attitude, right? Either mind or body, any which way. Shat karma, your cleansing practices are very, very good. Somebody who has tamas quality dominant within them, right? So these practices get you into inertia, right? When you come into inertia, that is when rajas begins to dominate, right? That is when there is a lot of movement, restlessness, activity, right? So tamasic person has to go for some practices which will help them in, like you shake things up, right? So for tamasic people, practicing asanas, shatkarma, these kinds of practices you will see that will give them more benefit, right? Then you come to the rajas. So rajas is already very active, right? So what rajas needs to do is they need to channel their activities, right? So people who have rajas, they can go for meditation, right? Or they can put all their efforts into spiritual things. So suppose you really like volunteering, so you can change what you volunteer for, maybe, or you can go into volunteering, in fact. If because the ego is very high, so you don't even want to volunteer, right? But when you go and volunteer, when you go and do selfless service, right? So this helps you to even bring down the ego, right? So for a Rajasic person, they need to channel their energy in the right direction. If it goes in the wrong direction, then it will take them towards a very different path, right? And if they are able to manage it and channel that energy, they can go towards a very different path. So, volunteering, or like I told you, just having that attitude of surrender, right? That really helps a Rajasic person, right? Because they are very, very attached, right? So those guys, they can, if they like reading, they can change the quality of the books that they read. If they like watching movies, they can change the quality of the movies that they watch, because they want to be active, right? They don't want to just sit around and be dull, right? They want that activity. So they can actually, that is why it's a better state than tamas, right? Because at least tamasic person will not even believe in anything spiritual. Rajasic person is just it would exist, but I don't know, right? And then Sattvic person will be like, oh, it is there, right? So this is the difference. So for Rajasic person, like at least they are open, right? So you can channel or give them direction, right? In that, on that path, right? Because they are open to that. And then Sattvic person is already there, right? They understand certain realities. And in Bhagavad Gita, it is written these three qualities. You have a yogi rises above all three. Okay. So for us, the task is to move towards Sattva, because that will lead us to the state where we go beyond these things, right? If we keep getting stuck in these things, we react towards them. That doesn't mean when you become a yogi or yogini, or when you are free from all your sufferings, you are in this body only, So this is a part of the nature, right? So these three qualities won't disappear, right? But your reaction is what you are working towards. So if you become restless, when you become restless, you just uh, go cause chaos everywhere around in the house, go and do 10 different things which causes a lot of disturbance to other people. So what you're doing is you are giving a reaction to that Rajasic quality. When your mind is restless, you just take that out on someone. So you are reacting. Constantly, we are in reaction because we are not aware that this thing is happening. So our task is to, uh, move away from that reaction, right? And come to observance, right? When you are able to see something, observe something, yeah, you are able to appreciate that thing, like like the way it is, right? Like you see a flower, right, pink in color, right? So appreciate it. You take some time, you look at it, and you appreciate it, right? So that is how, when you do more meditation, this comes. Okay, as you do more meditation, you will see that You are able to look at your thoughts. Your thoughts are that, you're able to look at them. You're just able to see, now this has come up. Okay, let me watch how long this is going to stay. Then it goes away, right? So you allow it to go away also, right? You just don't look at it like you stay, right? You're just like, oh, it came, okay, it's gone, right? So this thing you begin to develop. You don't because you cannot deny your physical body, right? It is there, right? So all these gunas will exist, but your reactive state of mind is what you are working towards, which will ultimately get you out, right, of all your sufferings, nothing else. It's only the work you put in there. Before that, I told you, everything is preparation, right? Until you reach that state of mind. Right? It's just a state. Yoga is just a state, right, of mind. Before that, we'll put all the effort. So, any doubts from anyone? You can write them down. You can unmute yourself and ask me. Right? No doubts? Okay. So, your homework is one thing. You now, for the next 24 hours, what you're going to do, you're going to see that, okay, now Rajas, when your mind becomes restless, oh, Rajas is here, right? And then when you're very still and calm, Sattva is here. And then when you feel lazy and you're like, I don't want to get out of bed, winters are over here, right? So Tamas is over there, right? So just recognize. And if you find that time, you can go deeper and see which two qualities dominate you the most, right? And then you can accordingly put work, which direction, the direction in which you need to put the work in order to come out of them. Okay. So then we'll close today's session. Yeah. So sit comfortably and keep the back neck straight. Very gently close your eyes. We'll chant Om one time, followed by three Shantis. Inhale deeply for Om. Om. Shanti. 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 Join the palms together and just bow down. We'll begin our day with a sense of gratitude. Just say a mental thank you to everything you have and rub the palms together. Keep them on the eyes. Very slowly, while blinking and looking at the palms, begin to open up your eyes. Start coming back with a smile. And namaste to everyone. I will see you all for your pranayam class in the afternoon. So enjoy, take your time and process all the information. Okay. So take care, guys. Bye bye. Okay. Oh, yeah. I keep telling my family stories because I go through I have gone through them, no, with them, with these things. And thank you so much. Yeah, I will um, take something to drink. Thank you. Bye bye.